So, hi guys, team. Just to follow on from our foam rolling session that we did in Mallorca, I'm just going to give you some demonstrations of a number of rolling protocols that we can release the body with. What I'll do at the end is then talk about how we can lump those together with the different disciplines of exercises that we do, whether it's running or biking or swimming, to then allow us to optimize the performance pre we can do and recovery for after. So here we go. So the first one we're going to do, if you remember, is the calves. We're going to load through the bottom leg, cross over the top leg, make sure that the bottom foot is as released and relaxed as possible, and literally just come up and down 6-8 times and work through that. We're working from the heel all the way up to the mid of the calf, and once we've done that 8 times, we're then just going to turn so we go onto the outside of the calf itself at about 45 degrees with the foot. So we're going to do that another 6 to 8 times, and from there we're then going to roll in and over, so we're going up the inside of the calf near the shin bone itself. So once we've done that 6 to 8 times, then really that's all we need to do with the calf to make a release. If you really struggle with tight calves, we can go and start the protocol halfway up and do the middle third of the calf itself, and the same protocol. We go up in the middle 6 to 8 times, outside in the middle 6 to 8 times, and then inside in the middle third 6 to 8 times. When we go that middle section, just up into here, can get a bit tight, so we just need to make sure that's nicely released and we don't tense too much with that. So that's the calves. We're then going to move to the outside of the leg itself. These are a good area that gets a hammering with the running and the biking, and creates a good release, increases ankle stability, increases the component of release into the IT band that we chatted about. So lateral calf, we need to get into that hurdler stretch, the 90-90 position here, and set the roller to down near the ankle itself. We're going to move the roller about 1 inch up the leg and 1/2 inch back, and we're then going to do that protocol till we get 4 times the inch up, 1/2 inch back, and about 1/3 of the way up the shin. Once we've done that, we can then shake the leg quite vigorously twice, and then circle with the foot twice one way, and then twice the other. Okay? We then start from the new position and release up 1 inch, back 1/2 inch, up 1 inch, back 1/2, up 1 inch, back 1/2, and I can now, once we're about halfway up, start to feel the effect of this as a roller. So I've done that 4 times. I'm going to shake the leg twice, and then 2 circles one way and 2 circles the other. The last time, once the foot starts to drop here because of range of movement at the hip, we can just turn the body away and push down onto the knee and push that last bit in. So this is where you probably won't like me, it gets a bit uncomfortable. So we're going up an inch, back 1/2, up 1 inch, back 1/2, up 1 inch, back 1/2, and for the last time, for the 4th time, up 1 inch, back 1/2. This time using the hamstrings to shake the leg. We do this twice, and then literally 2 circles one way and 2 circles the other. We do need to be careful on this one that we don't hit the bony outcrop on the outside of the leg itself. So just be a little bit careful on that we don't overdo this area. So once we've done the outside of the leg, we're then going to do the front of the shin. Now, we don't want to bang on the bone of the shin, so we want to move from the bone of the shin just ever so slightly lateral up the line of about 45 degrees from the front, and just work that itself. Here we're getting into the position and literally it's a little bit like a little bit of a squat thrust. Foot stays nice and relaxed, and we're just rolling through the belly of that muscle. Again, just 6 to 8 times. We don't need to bash this as an area too much, otherwise it'll get a little bit inflamed. So 6 to 8 times, good bit of core work at the same time, so Martin will like that. And we can just rest that there. Okay, so that's the lower leg. Now we go on to the quad. Okay, it was a little bit emotional when we did it, but the quad itself, we're going to get into that position, so if you can see me from there, starting with a roller down by the knee. So we get into this position. So we look at this, the opposite knee's out, we're onto the elbows. And you can see that I'm dropping my hips down and my foot's lifting. So we're going to roll up an inch, come back 2 inches, come back 1 inch this time. Up 2 inches, come back 1 inch. Up 2 inches, come back 1 inch. Up 2 inches, come back 1 inch. Shake the leg sideways. It's not very nice, I can feel that. And we do that twice. So it's very similar to the outside of the leg. And instead of circling the foot, this time we're just going to bend the knee and straighten again, and bend the knee and straighten again. Now we have a new start point. We go up 2 inches, back an inch, up 2 inches, back an inch. So you can either do this with me or you can watch through the video all and then just get used to the protocol. So this is the 4th time. We'll go at the front of the quad itself, shake the leg sideways, pretty uncomfortable, and we do that again, and then 2 knee bends. So the protocol shouldn't be done any faster than I'm doing this now. So it's not a case of rushing it. So we're going up 2 inches, back an inch, up 2 inches, back an inch. I'm just going to move back into the camera. Up 2 inches, back an inch. And for the last time, we then shake the leg sideways with a good vigorous shake, and again, and 2 knee bends. So that's taken me halfway up the quad. I need to then do another block of those 4, and then another block of those 4. So effectively we do 1, 2, 3, and then 4 to finish just up by the pointy bit of the hip. Try not to roll onto that because it won't do it any good. Okay, so there's the lower leg. We don't need to do any more than that on the lower leg. So one more roller for the lower leg that we didn't do, and that's the adductors themselves. They get a bit of a hammering with running and certainly biking, and can really help to enhance power and release tensions into the groin. Certainly help with the amount of mobility that we were looking at with Martin. And yeah, it's uncomfortable, unfortunately, because it gets so fuzzed and jammed up within this area itself. So the position that we want is to get the roller on the inside of the thigh at 90 degrees to the thigh itself. So we're going to start with the knee, by the knee, and I'm just getting the movement through the hip. So we're going to go up an inch, back a half, and it's that same old scenario that we did with the outside of the leg and the quad. And so we've got that 4. Give the leg a shake twice, and then 2 knee bends. It's not particularly comfortable, but we make that protocol the same now, the same up and down, up the leg through everything that we do in the adductor itself. So shake the leg sideways twice, and then 2 knee bends. And we keep that process going until we get right up into the pelvis itself. So effectively we'll finish right up into the adductor. And we can just play about with that wherever we are to give you just a little bit of latitude to where you find the tension, and just have a play about with that, with releasing it. So that's the last leg exercise. Okay, so what we're going to work now in the back is the back itself, to increase the mobility within the thoracic spine and in side flexion and rotation. So here we go. roll on the floor. Start with the roller mid-back, supporting the head, and literally just going to roll up and down the spine, making sure that we come down onto the pelvis, but don't go up onto the neck itself, so just the upper back. I'm going to do this about 10 or 15 times. Now, you might get some clicking and popping with it, but don't worry about that, it should feel good. As we get down lower into here, maybe just a little bit uncomfortable, and certainly will get the abs working if you're not used to doing any ab work itself. Once we've done that 10 to 15 times, we can then open out on the middle of the spine, just where your shoulder blades are touching the roller, and just start to open out onto the roller itself. Supporting the head, just creating a little bit of overpressure, so I'm going to exaggerate it, we're going to push down and come back up. So it's just a small pulsing action for about 50 repetitions till we've done it, and then moving up the roller and just pulsing through that again. So we do that 50 times again, and we're going to do about 3 different areas there. We then finish off with 5 rollers up the length of the spine till we come then to a standstill. So that's the thoracic spine itself. We're then going to move on to the lats. Now this is a very tender area. So we just get into our side position and we can create a lift up here, so we can go into like a side bridge position just to moderate how much pressure we put through the roller itself, and then come into the bottom of the ribs. As we come down, we just open this hip out a little bit and create an element of just like a spiraling effect as we come into the lower back itself. And as we come into the top of the armpit, just be a little bit careful because it can get quite tight and tender. So here we can play with wherever the tenderness is, moderate how much pressure we put down into the areas that are very sore, and maximise the pressure we can put where it's not sore. But it's all having a positive effect. So that's the back itself. We don't need to overcomplicate things with how much we do with the rolling, but we must make sure that what we do with the rolling is done frequently, and that will start to get rid of the discomfort that we've got, and effectively. So that's the rolling. Go and do and enjoy, and email me with any questions.